patreon.com/slg.
Welcome to Unlocking Your Truth, another podcast by Dr. Leslie Phillips.
Hello everybody and welcome to Unlocking Your Truth with Dr. Leslie. My name is Dr. Leslie Phillips. I'll be your host for the next hour. And tonight as usual, we're focusing on everything to do with metaphysics and spirituality.
Everything or anything?
Everything and anything.
Everything's got big...
That's right, we'll be here a long time.
For an hour or so.
Yeah, I'll have to talk really fast to fit everything in. As I mentioned last week, it occurred to me that we had never done a show on dreams and dream analysis. And so I promised that that's what we'd do this week. And it's amazing we haven't, because that's really one of the main places where my personal spiritual journey started. As a teenager, I used to keep dream journals, and the adventures I had in my dreams were really what propelled me to have such a strong urge to pursue spirituality, because in those dream experiences that I had, I experienced myself in past lives. I had premonitions about my own life. I had premonitions about world events and much, much more. And so for me, it all started with that dream journal. And it can be a great place to start, because when you're asleep, your intellect isn't engaged. And a lot of people find it really hard to connect with their intuition and connect with that spiritual side of things when they're awake, just because their intellect is so strongly engaged. So I put together some tips on how to study your own dreams if that's something that you're attracted to doing. And the first thing, of course, is do the equivalent of what I did, which is to start a dream journal, which is to write your dreams down. Because I'm sure, as you know, you might think that you will remember your dreams as you're waking up. But within a few minutes of waking up, they are just wisps floating in the air. The details of the dream slip away really, really quickly. And you're just left with that feeling of, I know I had an interesting dream, but I just can't quite remember what happened in it. And of course, that there are scientists have studied this, and there's actual chemical changes that start to happen in the brain as you wake up. And of course, the other thing that can happen is that your logical mind can start analyzing the dream and start reorganizing the dream into a stream of logic, but the original dream itself may not have been such a logical, organized thing. So record your dreams as soon as you wake up, and you can use pen and paper, or you can use a recording device. And I actually trained myself, I was single at the time I did this, I trained myself to record my dreams into a handheld dictaphone. So I used to sleep with the dictaphone under my pillow and my finger on the record and on-off of the record button. And I actually trained myself while I was asleep to switch the record button on while I was having a dream, and dictate the dream while I was sound asleep, and then stop recording. And it was absolutely fascinating, because what I found was I would remember the very last dream that was on the recording device, and there could be up to 4 additional dreams from the same night that I would have no memory of if it wasn't for the fact that it was my voice speaking them. So you'd be amazed. It takes a little bit of practice to do that, and you probably can't do it if you live with somebody else, but that's another idea for you. So record your dreams as soon as you wake up, before your mind has had a chance to take over, and before your brain chemistry has had a chance to really dissolve that dream. And write it down in fragments. Don't worry about it making a logical sequence. Just write the fragments that come to mind, the strongest images and the strongest emotions.
So why, like you're saying, brain chemistry will eradicate your dream. Why is that? Why does it attack that memory of that dream so easily?
So I don't know whether the word is attack, and to be honest with you, I don't remember the scientific details of that, Corey. So you'd have to Google it.
Okay, I thought I was doing that when I asked you.
No. And then so once you've done that, you've got your dream details written down. Then what do? Then what you do is you start to think of associations that you have with the strongest images in the dream, and that's much better than having a dream analysis book. You've seen those books, I'm sure, in the bookstores that say, if you dream of a black cat, it means this. If you dream of a white cat, it means that. There are some symbols that are supposed to belong to the collective unconscious, but really what's happening when you're dreaming is it's your personal, private, psychological landscape that you're journeying into. And so the most important thing with any dream symbol, and everything in a dream is a symbol, by the way, whether it's a person, an object, an animal, is to say, what does this mean to me? What's my personal association with this? And I'll give you a made-up example. So let's say somebody dreams about a hospital. Well, you can see how one person might associate a hospital with death. Perhaps they just lost somebody who died in a hospital. Another person might associate it with life. Perhaps they just had a baby in a hospital. Another person might associate it with healing, and someone else with injustice. And it really depends on what their personal association with hospital is. And so really that's what you need to do. You need to say, okay, well, here's the list of characters. Here's the list of locations and places. And here's the other significant images that really stand out for me. Now, what do they mean for me? What's my particular association with those things? And then, when it comes to the people that appear in your dream, the people are not always the people themselves, but they can be symbols of parts of you. So a particular person might be reflecting or mirroring back at you something about yourself. Because, like I said, it's your psychological landscape. You're the writer, you're the director, and you're the actors in your dream. So when you're examining the people who pop up in your dreams, then consider your relationship with them in real life and what part of you they might be representing. So, and again, another just completely made-up example just to illustrate the point. But let's say you go swimming once a week with a friend, and your swimming buddy is in the dream, and you associate them because they're your swimming buddy with water, and you associate with water a feeling of freedom and relaxation because that's what happens every week when you go for a swim. And then, maybe your father was also in the dream, and you see your father as a harsh judge who you associate with obeying the rules. So then you could be dealing with a part of your psyche that's exploring freedom versus limitation in that dream, and those two characters are representing the opposite poles of that. So people are not always themselves. They can be symbolizing something that you associate them with, perhaps a personality trait that they have or that you project onto them. The other thing that can happen in dreams sometimes is if you can incorporate things that have happened to you during the day. And in actual fact, there's a few different types of dream. One is where you are processing what's happened to you during the day. You're just sorting through your life experiences. And then there's another type of dream, which is more this dip into your inner psyche. So an example of a day residue in your dream might be that you bumped into an old school friend that you hadn't seen for years, and then you dreamed that you were back at school. And actually that chance meeting with a friend, perhaps it could even trigger you to work through some buried emotions or experiences from that time, from back in time. Right, so we've talked about examining the people, examining the locations, and what we used to do in the dream analysis group I used to belong to used to say, what are the strongest images? Out of all the images in the dream, which is the one that really, really stood out, or which is the two that really, really stood out? Because if they stood out to you, then they're significant. There's a significant message in them. And the other thing you want to pay attention to is the emotions in the dream. So consider the emotional tone of the dream, and also what emotions you went through as you went through the different situations in the dream. And out of all the emotions that you went through, which was the strongest? Which was the most significant? So were you afraid? Were you happy? Were you embarrassed? Was there a disconnect in the dream between how you think you should have felt now that you're remembering the dream and what you actually felt in the dream? And just another illustration. So let's say you dream that you're about to die, and instead of feeling afraid, you're excited and curious. And then you wake up and you say, well, that was a bit odd, wasn't it? And the other thing you might want to question when you have a strong emotion in a dream is there something right now in my waking life that I feel this way about? Because if there's something in your life right now that you feel that way about, it may be that the dream is giving you a different perspective on those feelings in that situation that you are having them in response to. All right. And so then, some people do believe, even though I'm going to contradict myself here, that there are some common dream symbols that belong to the collective unconscious. And so that's kind of what you might say a Jungian approach to dream analysis. And so here's some examples. And I think there's some truth in this. So, for example, death can symbolize transformation, a kind of a rebirth, a change from one state to another state, a significant shift. Disease can symbolize inner conflict. Well, I can get that because the disease starts as in a kind of inner conflict, actually. And, being chased could be running away from something that you don't feel equipped to handle. And the other thing is, within certain groups, there can be collective dreams. So, for example, in my family, there's a dream that, on my father's side, there's a dream that family members have when somebody is about to die. And that dream is of losing a tooth. And that over the years I've been alive, and I'm not going to tell you how many that is, but there's been many incidences when somebody in the family passes away, then one or more of the members of the family will dream that they lost a tooth.
That's interesting.
And that's how, when my father's mother died, he was on holiday. While he was on holiday, he dreamed he lost a tooth. And I dreamed I lost a tooth. Then he came back, and she stayed alive just long enough to say goodbye to him. But the tooth dream, and so maybe your family or has a dream like that. Then, so we've looked at all the different symbols in the dream, whether they belong to the collective unconscious or a group consciousness, or whether they're individual to your psyche. The landscape of the dream, the places, the locations, and the emotions. So put all of that together and ask what the dream is trying to tell you. Because conventional dream analysis assumes that it has a message for you. So what might the message be? And so put it all together and ponder it. Although I have to say that, talking from a spiritual perspective, sometimes dreams do have a direct relationship with your current life circumstances, and actually sometimes they don't. And although we've never done a show on dream analysis before. We've done a couple of shows on astral travel. And so you might have heard me explain how when you are asleep and you leave your body and you move into the astral plane of reality, there is no time and space. And that means that the amount of experience available to you is enormous. And that you couldn't ever bring all of that memory of that experience back into the physical body, nor would you want to, because a lot of it does not relate to this aspect of you that lives in this physical body. But I would suggest if you are remembering the dream, then perhaps it does serve a purpose. Otherwise, why would you be remembering it? The psychologists as well believe that one of the purposes of dream experiences is healing, to help you rebalance yourself. And of course, a dream might not have one meaning. It's a series of fragments and vignettes that are coming together. There may be multiple meanings for the same dream. There may be multiple meanings for one symbol in a dream, actually. And then, the final thing I guess I would say is, you might also want to say, well, what type of dream is this? Because, like I said, you could have a dream that is you exploring your inner psychological landscape for the purpose of healing yourself and rebalancing your psyche. But you could have a dream that is an adventure, an exploration, going beyond anything that you are currently experiencing in your life, a way of expanding your consciousness, something totally new. Or you could have a dream, as I mentioned at the beginning, where you're experiencing yourself as another character other than you. That could be a past life. It could be a made-up character. You might meet spirit guides, receive guidance, meet animal totems, dream that you're swimming with the whales, for example. And it's even possible to have premonitions because, like I said, that reality is outside of time and space. That reality that you are delving into when you dream is outside of time and space. And so I had a lot of experience with that when I was keeping my dream diary, just mind-boggling, to the point that I was pretty much dreaming my life before it happened and the circumstances before it happened.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and here's the thing. What I find is, I don't have that depth of experience anymore because I'm not focusing on it. So it does take you to focus your consciousness on, this is really my project right now is my dreams and exploring my dreams and remembering my dreams and analyzing my dreams. And it's like the more you focus on it, the more you will get from it.
Hey, some dreams are amazing. They're so powerful too. Like emotionally, they can really get into your psyche, into your physical being. When you wake up, you have the physical sensation, the emotional sensation of that dream. It is with you, and it can stay with you for a long time as well. I figured out the answer to my question, by the way. When we're dreaming, we're going to a theta state, we have alpha, delta, beta, and theta states, and I can't remember which one was which, but one doesn't allow for ingraining it into your memory, where the other one does.
That kind of makes sense, doesn't it? Yeah, and it reminds me of, I can't remember this joke exactly, but those circumstances where you dream your partner's in your dream and they do something you don't like, and then you wake up and you're mad at them. Oh.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. All right, well, it's time to go for a break, and we have a real treat today.
Ooh.
Because we've invited Johnny K to come and have his aura read. So we're going to be doing that after the break. So that's going to be a bit of fun. Hello, listeners. Well, I am now in the studio with Johnny K. Hi, Johnny.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Fine, thanks.
Are you looking forward to this?
Yes.
How are you feeling right now?
Relaxed.
Oh, that's
you
good.
told me I have to be relaxed.
That's
so I follow orders.
Fantastic. Yeah, so we are going to do an aura reading on Johnny. And I'll just explain for the listeners what an aura reading is.
Thank you.
Everyone has an energy field around them. You know, everything is energy, including you. And while you can see your physical body, there's actually an emanation of energy that goes beyond the physical body. It's called your aura or your energy field. And your energy field actually comprises layers of energy that emanate from the chakras. The chakras are energy vortices, and each of the main chakras relates to a different aspect of your reality. And so we're actually going to read 7 layers of your energy field, Johnny. And each layer relates to a different aspect of your reality, and I will explain which aspect of your reality we're looking at it as we go through. Any questions before we start?
I just want to say, I listened to your episode, or one of the episodes, actually I think it might have been 2, about chakras, but I honestly don't remember much.
That's okay.
But I do listen. I was listening.
You know what? It's like driving a car. You don't need to know how the engine runs, right?
Okay.
You kind of got them, and they're doing their thing, and you don't really need to know all the ins and outs of them. All right, so I am now, listeners, going to go into a light trance, and when I do that, I'm then going to tune into Johnny's energy. And I'm going to start with the first layer of his energy field. And the first layer of his energy field actually relates to physical reality. So how you create your life in the physical world. And that can be like anything, money, career, manifesting stuff. And what I'm going to do on each layer is I'm going to look at the color frequency of the layer. I'm going to look at the quality of the energy, whether it's flowing. And I'm also going to look at a symbol and translate that into meaning. And the first layer of your energy field is yellow. So I'm getting a yellow vibration, and it goes all the way round your physical body. And the energy itself is quite light, but I am seeing that there's another energy vibration that you are actually working on releasing and letting go of. And that energy vibration is sort of like a darker blue, and it represents some kind of block. And I will if I get more information on that, I will tell you. But I'm going to look for the symbol. Well, it's interesting. The symbol that I'm seeing on the first layer of your energy field is, I've seen it before, and I think it's called Kokapele. It's like that native sort of Hopi Indian that plays the flute, and he's got I don't know, sticky up hair. So and it represents you, and it represents you and your focus on what you're wanting to create. And it's kind of interesting, and it's sort of like, well, it's like, what is uniquely me? What's my unique perspective? And just really focusing on sharing your unique perspective. And give me a moment, see if I can see any more about that. I feel like it has to do with music as well, because it's a musical instrument that it's playing. Yeah, I mean, that's really, I'm just saying that you've just got a really strong focus on what brings you joy. It looks like music brings you joy, and sharing what you have to offer. And that's the yellow is the joyfulness. The darker blue is, but it feels like a void. It feels like some degree of, almost like the opposite, like emptiness, like, where do I go? Where do I focus? And so it's almost like having emerged from a time that felt like that somehow, and then moving into this stronger a single-pointed focus. So that's the first layer of your energy field. I'm going to look at the second layer of your energy field, which is actually wider than the first layer. And the color vibration I'm getting is orange. And this layer emanates from your second chakra. This energy center relates to the emotions, it relates to sexuality, and also an intuitive ability called clairsentience, which is being able to sense how other people are feeling, for example. So, orange. And I'll look for a symbol as well. Lots of musical symbols. So, the orange frequency has a creative feeling to it. So again, it's about you creating. It's about you having a creative project. And it's about you. I'm also seeing the symbol it started off as a pair of gloves moving along the table. And then it turned into a man with a mustache and, you know what conductors have, a conducting stick? And it reminds me of those old jazz singers from like the 1920s, actually, you know, with the floppy hair and all of that. And it also reminds me of a conductor in more classical music. And what it and there's a theme really developing in this reading, but what it feels like is it's like your unique combo, like your unique combination of creative expression, and again the field that you're doing it in being music. And I also just get the sense with you on both of these layers, like you're really embracing your uniqueness. It's sort of like, well, I don't really care what anyone else thinks, actually. I mean, I do. I want to entertain people, but I don't. I don't need approval. It's like, this is what makes sense to me. This is what this is what feeds me. This is what excites me. This is what, where I want to focus and explore. Okay, so that's the second layer. The third layer relates to energy distribution, out-of-body experience, which is what we've just been talking about, dreams, and out-of-body memory. And there's more yellow and an even wider layer. And let's look for a symbol. Well, the symbol is a university graduate with one of those hats that they wear, and a scroll, and a long cloak. And it's a symbol of merit, and it's a symbol of almost like, self-recognition and self-validation. Like, I deserve it, like I've worked for it, like I'm not a new kid on the block, like I have experience, I have wisdom. And so it really looks like you're using this yellow vibration to validate yourself, to encourage yourself, and to just feel like there's a substance to who you are and why you're here, and a history that backs you up. On this layer, I'm looking more at energy distribution right now than I am at out-of-body experiences and dream experiences. And one of the themes of this reading is it is about you focusing your energy in order to create something. And this is in alignment with that theme, because it's like, I'm doing this, and you know what? I'm good at it, and I deserve it, sort of thing. Okay, then the fourth layer of your energy field, which emanates from the heart chakra, I'm getting a green vibration here. And the heart center relates to affinity and oneness, the interconnectedness of all beings, and compassion and unconditional love and things like that. This layer, the green, is sort of around the heart area. And then there's a gold vibration, a yellowy gold vibration that goes around the rest of your body. And I'm looking for a symbol. Well, there's a couple of symbols. One of them is, and they both feel ancient. One of them is like an emerald tablet. and the other is a turtle. But in the context of, again, like the native, in America, the turtle is a sacred animal. I think it represents the earth or the world. So anyway, in your case, let me take a look. Looking at that turtle symbol, first of all, I'm seeing the life cycle of a turtle and how it lives in the ocean, and then it comes ashore and it lays its eggs, and then it buries them in the sand, and then it goes back into the ocean. Well, this turtle of yours has just laid a really big egg. And, and it feels like it's this idea of accomplishment, and also this idea of something ripening, something developing further, and being ready to be birthed into new life. So again, this whole creative theme that's coming up in this reading. And then the other symbol that I'm looking at, which is the other symbol's different. It feels like it's got an ancient Egyptian vibration to it, actually, but it feels like it's the equivalent of the Ten Commandments, or so. It's like a book of rules, like an ancient book of rules that says, this is how you must create, or this is how you must do it. Step A, B, C, D, E. And it feels like you're saying, okay, well, I've been there and I've done that and I've tried it that way, and it's okay, but I'm beyond that now. Now I'm creating in my own unique way. I'm throwing out the rule book, actually. It's because it's a limit, and I will never expand if I continue to just follow this A, B, C directions. And so I am going to be that turtle that gives birth to a giant egg, and it's my egg, and it's my creation, and it's what gives me joy that I'm going to create. Let's see if there's anything else to say about that, the green. Well, the other thing is, it also reminds me of the Wizard of Oz and the Emerald City, and there's a level of fantasy about it. And it looks like you're also saying what's realistic, what's realistic, and what's fantasy. And not to say that I can't dream big, but at the same time, I want to be focused on where I am right here, right now, and what's possible right now in the moment. So pull my energy into the moment, because that actually is where the greatest creative power is. And I just want to link this into the whole heart chakra thing, which is about... Oh, but okay, so where it fits in is you're saying, okay, well, there's the oneness, there's the interconnectedness of all things, and we are one, but I'm also unique. I'm a unique note in this symphony of the souls, and I'm meant to play my unique note. And I'm not going to play my unique note if I just go by someone else's rule book. I have to go by my own creative urges. Fifth layer is the communication chakra, the throat chakra, to do with all different forms of spiritual communication and physical communication, and it's blue, and it's a lovely light sky blue color vibration. And let's take a look. Well, the symbol is a golden harp, like a lyre. And it looks like this part of you is really super active right now. And one of the things it looks like you're working on is how to resonate with people, and how to communicate with people, and how to reach people, and how to reach many people and different groups of people, and how to reach them on whatever level or frequency that they're at. So it's sort of like, well, here's me, and here's my message or what I'm offering, but at the same time, how I'm delivering it to people so that it can be received by as many people as possible. And so it looks like you're having a lot of fun on the level of your communication, and It just looks like, and there's a level of ease about it for you as well. The sixth layer is your clairvoyance. And the color vibration that I am getting for your clairvoyance, which emanates from your sixth chakra, and it just means your ability to see clearly, your ability to tune into the truth. There's a pink and there's an orange. And it looks like you have it tuned into this whole thing about helping you create, helping you see opportunities, helping you see what you can do and how you can do it. And I'm going to look for a symbol as well. And actually the only symbol that I'm getting is a really bright light, and the bright light is you. It's like, I'm here. I'm aware. I'm aware. I'm consciously aware, which actually you can't say for every human being, actually. So, just really, there's just a whole feeling of focus, like I keep saying. And then the seventh layer is gold, emanates from the crown chakra. It relates to your knowingness, your ability to just access directly your spiritual information and know it, or your higher wisdom might be another word for it. And the symbol is, well, it's a golden robed man, and it feels like it's a higher version of you, and he has a string of beads. It represents what you plan for yourself this lifetime. And it actually feels like you're going, some of this stuff, I don't want it anymore, or some of this stuff doesn't work anymore, or I've done that, now I can focus on something else. So it actually looks like you're sorting through a whole bunch of stuff and clearing out a whole bunch of stuff so that you can focus on what you want right now. So there we are. It's time probably to go to a break, Johnny, but how was that experience?
That was interesting. Thank you.
Welcome. Did it resonate with you?
Yes, it did.
Okay, well, that's really cool. I'm glad to hear that. All right, listeners, so we have to go to a break, and we do have someone on the phone after the break as well, so that's going to be Hello everybody, welcome back to Unlocking Your Truth with Dr. Leslie. My name's Dr. Leslie Phillips, and we do have a caller on the line. Hello, caller.
Hello.
Hi.
Dr. Leslie. Hello.
Who am I talking to?
Susie.
Hi, Susie.
I have another twist to my question.
Sure.
I have a twist. My twist is this. I'm working on the first and second chakra, so that's not the twist. The twist is that through my muscle testing and through intuition and such, I realize what's up right now is my relationship that I've been in for 10 years. And what's come up is this anger. I have this tremendous anger that just keeps, every time I talk to this person, I just feel really angry. And I feel pretty strongly that it's due to a past life situation. And so I'm just hoping I can try to clear it, because the level of anger that comes up with me to this person is kind of a bit intense. And it's been going on for years, but I've been trying to deal with it. And I thought, I bet you this is related to my issue that I've been working on in the area.
Well, we can take a look at that, but before we do, I'm going to just give you a little tip on how to deal with your anger.
Yeah.
And I would also say that it's unlikely that it would only be a past life situation, so it's going to be both. But anyway, so this is what people tend to do. They get angry, and then they say, they look for somebody to blame for their anger. Okay, well, it's your fault. And then they vent their anger at that person and throw energy at that person.
Right.
And And so they're not owning their anger, they're blaming someone else for it, and they're hurting someone else, actually.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you're punching them physically or if you're whacking them with your anger. So what you can do instead is, I call it the volcano exercise. So if you tune into your second chakra, which is 2 finger widths below your navel, and you visualize that it's a volcano, that it wants to erupt.
Okay.
It's about to erupt. And then you allow the volcano to erupt, but the energy that spews out of the volcano, instead of throwing it at another person, let it run up your body. Let it run up your body, and and as that power, as that force, as it shifts, what it will do is you can use it as a healing force, because it will clear out, the magma and the rocks. It will be clearing out energy blocks, unwanted things from your space. So you're redirecting your anger into a force for healing.
Okay. No, I'll definitely do that. And I love that idea, because that's my concern. It's a kind of an intense experience, and I try not to be projecting, but there are times when I do, and I really don't want to be doing that.
Yeah, and so, and that's a tip for all the listeners, really. That's just a great thing that you can do to channel your anger. And, other people, just look at some of the artists in the world. They channel their emotions into their art, don't they? So, if you're an artistic person, you can get some of that out through the medium of art or through exercise, right? All right. So now that I've said that, given everyone a tip on how to channel their anger, I'll take a look at you and your anger. Oh, and before I do that, I'll just say as well that we judge anger. We say, oh, anger's a bad thing, and we shouldn't really be feeling anger. But it's just one of the emotions on the scale of emotional expression that our body has. Now, it's a lower vibration emotion. It's a step up from fear, though, and that's the other great thing about anger, is because if you're in fear, you're stuck and the energy is not moving. But if you can at least get angry, which is the next level up from being really afraid, then your energy starts moving, and you want your energy to be moving. All right, so let's take a look. So that's another clue, Susie, that there's probably fear underlying the anger. Anyway, I shall take a look. Well, I'm seeing that what you're really, really working on right now is owning your second chakra, owning your reproductive system, and clearing out foreign energy from your reproductive system. And your body is angry. Your body is angry at the foreign energy that's being placed in it. And because you're working with your body and you're listening to your body, it's great. It feels safe now for me to really start shouting about this. And so the main thing that I'm seeing is your body's just going, hey, I'm really angry. I'm really angry at this stuff that's inside of me, and I don't want it here anymore. I mean, that's really the bottom line of it. I mean, I can take a look and see if there's a past life situation that resonates. And of course, I'm sure we've talked in the past about the things that have happened to you in the past, in your childhood, and so on and so on. And that's the source of all the stuff that's stored there. So I don't think we need to go into that, but I'll look and see if there's a past life.
Yes.
So there are lots of past lives between you and this person, and quite a lot of recent past lives between you and this person. So I'll see if I can get one that is relevant.
Yeah, because I seem to get it. I'm concerned because this person seems to bring it out differently than other people. So there's something about our connection that's really bringing it out, which in a sense is positive, but on the other hand, it seems to intensify with that person, and I don't really think it's a good thing because I don't want to direct it at that person.
Okay. So I'm looking at a very recent past life, and it feels like 1920s perhaps. and I'm seeing a marriage ceremony. And the two people that I am drawn to look at is you, and you're one of the people getting married, and I actually feel you're in the male body, and the priest.
Oh yeah.
And I feel that your partner in this life is the priest in that life. And I feel that there was a relationship between the two of you. That was not at that time. Well, if there was an attraction between the two of you as men.
As men. Oh yeah,
yeah.
Okay, right. As I'm a man.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
And so, and it looks like. So it looks like he was young, but it looks like he was your priest, and that I feel like it is in Ireland, maybe Northern Ireland, and I'm seeing that it's sort of like it was recognized between the two of you that there was an attraction. And it was recognized between the two of you that you were different in having this attraction than how the culture in the world thought you ought to be. And so there was all of that, and there was and of course, so then there's a reason why you're doing what you're doing in terms of being a gay man, but you're getting married to a woman. But then at the same time, there's sort of like this judgment coming from the priest, which is sort of like, well, you're selling yourself out because you're not really like that. So why are you doing that? You shouldn't be doing that because it's a lie. It's a lie to be marrying a woman. And so it looks like the priest had some issues with it, and you had, it looks like you felt guilty, but you did it in a way to stay safe and to be normal, or what was considered normal. And so you felt ashamed and you felt judged, and you were being judged. And it's sort of like the priest sort of in a way felt like, well, at least I'm not marrying a woman, you know. I mean, his way of doing it was to be part of the priesthood, you know, which is a safe haven for gay men as well at the time and continues to be. And so you were gay men, and you were dealing with your sexuality in different ways. He dealt with it by being in the priesthood, and you dealt with it by marrying a woman and pretending not to be gay. And the two of you knew that each other were, and you had been attracted to each other, and so I don't know whether this maps to the dynamic between the two of you now, but that's what I'm seeing. There was judgment over perceived or projected hypocrisy. But it's almost like, well, okay, well, he was judging you, but he was also not living the truth. You know, you both had your, what's the word, way of dealing with this to keep yourself safe. He was a priest, and you were married. All right.
Okay.
So hopefully that helps you in some way.
It does to an extent. I'll have to meditate on it, but I can see that it probably does somehow. So.
Okay, good.
There is a bit of this confusion between us too. There's definitely confusion. But okay, I know you probably have to go now.
Okay, well, thanks for calling.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay, bye.
So, Corey, do we have another question to answer before we hand over to Johnny K?
It's 7:54, isn't it?
Oh, it is 7:54. Yes, we don't have time for another question. Bye, and we'll be here next week as usual.
Thank you for joining us. You've been listening to another Unlocking Your Truth podcast by Dr. Leslie Phillips. For more information, go to our website at drlesley PHILLIPS.com. That's drlesliephillips.com, where you can ask questions or send her an email, and there's many free gifts on there for you as well. Come back again.